Thank you to my classmates, to our faculty, and to everyone who has supported us through the endless nights of studying without drugs. I am honored to speak in front of such an accomplished group. Before we get started, the FDA and the Surgeon General require me, by law, to disclose all side effects that this speech may cause: drowsiness, nausea, dizziness, headache, and erectile dysfunction. Many audience members may experience all of these side effects, or not at all. No reports of death thus far. I said thus far. I was trying to think of a witty acronym to summarize these symptoms. You know, like DARE, drug, abuse, resistance, education. But let's be realistic, people. In our field, DARE really stands for drugs are really effective. Anyway, I hope none of you experience any side effects for the remainder of this speech. But if you do, one thing I've learned over the last 4 years is we have a drug for that. As I was thinking about what great words of wisdom I could pass on with my speech today, I had to take a step back and ask myself, what principles have helped shape the person that stands before you today? The answer? I live by 3 simple principles, and no, one of them isn't to party. I actually find myself using these principles every day, whether I'm getting a cup of coffee or counseling a patient on his or her Coumadin. The first principle is communication. In order to talk about communication, I have to talk about chemistry. I know, I feel your pain too. But to understand communication, I have to go there. In a chemistry-related sense, we are all atoms, each of us unique with different amounts of protons, neutrons, and electrons surrounding us. Think of these atoms as our thoughts and ideas, some of them neutral, and others attract and repel other atoms. Or, for lack of a better analogy, our colleagues. So as we embark on our careers, we need to ask ourselves, how do we want to present ourselves and interact with the environment around us? Well, as in chemistry, when 2 atoms come together, it creates a reaction. And that reaction can either be explosive or calm. For me, I found communicating in a clear, calm, personable manner is best applied. Whether I'm discussing the reactions and side effects of a life-saving drug with a patient, or compassionately counseling the terminally ill on steps to live a more comfortable life, with the knowledge and skills that this institution has taught me. Rudyard Kipling, British author and poet, once said in a speech he gave to the Royal College of Surgeons in London, "Words are, of course, the most powerful drug used by mankind." It's true. He was describing the effects of communication that change the way another person thinks and feels, to influence that person to do or feel things that are not normal, just as drugs would do. Class of 2010, choose your words wisely, as the side effects of poor communication could be far worse than the side effects of this speech. Communicate to persevere through the challenging times of your work, research, and your relationships. And most important, don't be afraid to communicate your ideas, knowledge, and skills. They could change the world. And if no one is willing to listen to your ideas, I recommend benzodiazepines, a good sedative hypnotic drug that just may do the trick. And remember, if someone is really difficult and irrational to communicate with, these types of drugs can be administered rectally. Please use your discretion. Which brings me to my next principle, courage. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "Whatever course you decide upon, there's always someone to tell you that you're wrong. There are always difficulties arising, which tempt you to believe that your critics are right. To map out a course of action and follow it to end requires courage." I have always thought of myself as a person who has courage. It's a principle I try to live by. I tried out for the Denver Broncos cheerleading team and was unsuccessful 3 times. Going back each year to try out, even when you were told the year before you're not good enough, I thought took a lot of courage. But recently I found out what courage is really about. My life story has been pretty simple. My parents provided everything and anything I could ever need or want, and I lived at home my entire life, including through college. On March 17th, I found out I will begin my professional career in Omaha, Nebraska, leaving everything I have ever known and the safekeeping of mom and dad. My mind was filled with overwhelming variety of thoughts, from being extremely scared to the nerves and excitement to begin my new life. But then reality set in, facing the unknown. I have lived my whole life within a 15-mile radius, and now I have to face the barrier of comfort by myself? This is a lot different than facing rejection from the Denver Broncos. Do I have the courage to leave home and start my new life? Before I answer that question, I should back up 2 months. You see, I had a safety net that made moving out an easier decision. My fiance is a traveling nurse, and the plan was we would move to Omaha together. Because who really wants to face the unknown alone? And plus, I need someone to move all those boxes, right? So here I am, finishing school, about to start my life in a new city with the man I will marry. Then, the unexpected. The man I plan on marrying decides to break off the engagement. The perfect plan just got filled with doubt, uncertainty, and no one to help move these boxes. Being a student of pharmacology, I thought there has to be a drug to fix a broken heart. Sadly, there is not. The nerves, fright, and every other emotion entered my mind again, and I put my number 2 principle to the test. So to answer the question, do I have courage? I do. One thing I'm good at is handling a test, whether it's a CPC exam or testing one of my principles, and that's a test I will not fail. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "The ultimate measure of man is not where he stands in moments of comfort, but rather where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." My friends, have the courage to step out of your comfort zone from time to time. You never know what success might be achieved from overcoming your challenge you encounter. Now that I've fulfilled all the important personal anecdotes that every wonderful commencement speech requires, without the help of diazepam and alprazolam, that's Valium and Xanax for those non-pharmacology students out there. And to my final principle, which I'm going to give as a prescription, let me grab my pad. Patient, class of 2010, address, Aurora, Colorado. Today's date, May 28th, 2010. DEA number, blah, blah, blah. Drug name, leadership. Direction for use. Use leadership to influence those around you with purpose, motivation, strong ethics, and righteous morals. Stay well informed. Seek responsibility and take responsibility for your actions. Demonstrate communication, confidence, compassion, and courage. Leadership should be stored at a cool and calm temper in the light of difficult times and always in the reach of children. Leadership must be used daily for the rest of your life. If used as directed, you will see the benefits of success. The greatest leaders are excellent communicators, extremely courageous, and enthusiastic. Although enthusiasm is not a principle that I live by every single day, it's always applied to everything I do. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "Enthusiasm is one of the most important engines of success. When you do a thing, do it with all your might. Put your soul into it. Stamp it with your own personality. Be active, be energetic, be enthusiastic, and faithful, and you will accomplish your object." Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. We are no longer aspiring to become. We are and will lead this generation, as we are at the vanguard, delivering, researching, testing, and looking for the next cure to a disease that you or someone you love may need. Class of 2010, we've all worked so hard to come so far and should be really proud. If you remember one thing from this speech, remember this. Make sure to determine what your principles are and be sure to live by them each and every day of your life. Continue to work hard, continue to have passion and enthusiasm. Anything is possible. It's been a great honor to know each and every one of you, and I've learned so much from you all. While this may seem like an ending to our journey together, think of it instead as a beginning to all the greatness that lies ahead. Life will take unexpected turns, it's a given. But communication, courage, and leadership are the principles that help to guide me. Think about who you are and define the principles that will guide you. Then share them as I've done today. But before you do, remember, always disclose all potential side effects of your speech. Thank you.